Okay, this video I want to make on how can I improve my ACFT runtime, and this goes for you as well if you're a civilian, okay? In the ACFT is the Army Combat Fitness Test, okay? This is what we do in the Army. It's our new physical fitness test. It used to be called the APFT. Now it's called the ACFT, and it's comprised of 6 events. And what I recently made was a running course for athletes, particularly military members, but it's also built for civilians as well. So when you're running the 2-mile distance, it's a highly anaerobic event. So you have to focus more on speed rather than just running easy. 8 laps, getting across the finish lines, from start to finish in record time, takes patience. It's not something you're going to succeed at in a matter of a few weeks. The biggest mistake I saw soldiers making when I was in the Army, and I recently retired. I served over 20 years on active duty in the Army. So I have plenty of experience in regards to this. I constantly saw soldier athletes out there running sprints, running ability group runs that were far too fast for their own, for their capability at the time. And they did not spend enough time training aerobically. Okay, you cannot, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot rush the process. You can't jump into doing sprints and doing tempo runs, running at your anaerobic threshold. About 85 to 89% of your maximum heart rate is running at anaerobic threshold. Okay, doing sprints before building a strong aerobic base building phase, before doing that first, it's a recipe for disaster. So if you're going to succeed in running the ACFT 2-mile time and to improve upon that ACFT run time that you have, whether you're in the military and you're training for the Army Combat Fitness Test, or you're a civilian and you're just trying to improve over the 2-mile distance, focus first on a proper aerobic base foundation first. Okay, the reason behind this is because you're going to strengthen your ligaments, your tendons, your muscles, and you're going to prepare yourself to be less injury prone by doing that first. It's fine to add in some strides twice per week during your base building phase, and in my opinion, a longer build-up is better than a short build-up. I think for athletes that are really trying to run a substantially faster 2-mile time, in my opinion, I think a buildup of, say, 16 to 20 weeks is much better than a short buildup of, say, 8 to 12 weeks. Again, the longer the buildup, the better prepared you're going to be, because you're not rushing your fitness. You're focusing first on building your aerobic base to ensure that your physiology is strong enough to handle the harder workouts you're going to be doing. It's then you start, after you've built that aerobic base, then you start focusing on doing hill repetitions, speed workouts, whether those are repeat 800s on the track or repeat 200s, when you're really focusing on running at your VO2 max. As if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you already know that when you're running at your VO2 max, you're running so fast your body can't clear that lactic acid faster than it's building up. So naturally, we have to take rest breaks in between our intervals. The key tactic when you're training for the 2-mile is you want to get to a point where, early on, when you're not as anaerobically fit, you're going to need more time between each one of your intervals, and your intervals, of course, are not going to be run at very fast paces, because again, you have to take time to prepare. But the key tactic in a proper ACFT 2-mile preparation in terms of your training plan is you want to get to a point where those intervals are being conducted much faster, and your rest between each one of those repetitions that you're doing is much less, because again, by doing this on a consistent basis, doing 1 VO2 max workout per week, 1 tempo run per week, and 1 long run per week. If you consistently do this, preferably over 16 to 20 weeks, you're going to improve your body's lactate tolerance. Okay, that means you're going to be able to sustain race pace longer than you've been able to handle that in the past. And more importantly, you will get that 2-mile race pace to feel easier for you. And again, the faster you race over 2 miles, the more confidence you're gonna have at racing the longer distances. Maybe you're training for the Army 10-miler or the Marine Corps Marathon. Those long races, you still need to focus on your speed as well. But it's consistent endurance-based training that will get you results. You have to also focus on your recovery. Okay, most athletes we're so focused on track workouts or doing hill repetitions or getting out and doing ability group runs. If you're in the military, yeah, we do sprints. We do a lot of ruck marches and rope climbing and tire flips and other strength-based type workouts. But when it comes to running a faster 2 mile, especially considering the fact that if you're in the military, you already know you have 5 events before you do that 2 mile. So it's critical that you focus on training well below goal 2 mile race pace. Okay, if you're a civilian, you just have to focus on the 2 mile. But if you're a soldier, or if you're a member of another member of our armed forces, maybe you're in the Marines and you're focusing on the 3 mile, or if you're in the Air Force and the Coast Guard and the Navy, those 3 branches focus on 1.5 miles. And this course also will help you as well substantially. There are tactics in this course that I've covered, major mistakes I've seen military members making, that if you just make a couple small changes in your equipment, that particular change will help you drop at least 15 to 20 seconds off your 2 mile time. And this is a particular strategy that that doesn't require you running any more mileage. It doesn't require you to be in the gym. It's just one small change that will help you significantly run faster over the 2 mile distance. And that's covered in the course. The course itself has 9 modules consisting of 58 video lessons. So I've pretty much shared every tactic, strategy, and fundamental that I was taught by 3 of the world's top distance running coaches. Dr. Joe Vigil, who's a world-renowned exercise physiologist and an elite distance running coach. Jack Hazen, who was my collegiate coach and who was the men's and women's 2012 Olympic Games distance coach, as well as Lisa Rainsberger, who coached me for 3 years when I was with the Army World Class Athlete Program. All of these coaches have helped guide me and to get to a point where I was able to eventually run 2:19:35 for the marathon. I ran 9:27 for 2 miles when I was in college, 14:18 for 5K on the roads, 107:06 for the half, and 50:54 for 10 miles. So these particular times were created based on a consistent amount of mileage, track sessions, and the same tactics and exact strategies that I'm discussing here in this short video. If you really want to take your 2 mile preparation to the next level, I highly recommend taking a look at the Army ACFT 2 mile Embrace the Suck 2 mile course that I've recently created. The link to that course is here on the screen, and it's below this video as well if you want to take a look. But in regards to running 8 laps, if you're on the track, proper pacing is absolutely essential. You're not going to drop a minute to even 2 minutes off your 2 mile time if you're running too aggressive in the early laps of that race. Yes, you can drop 1 to 2 minutes off your 2 mile time. It is possible. I've seen other athletes do it. I've done it myself. But if you get too hyped up in the early stages of your race, you're going to go into oxygen debt. And if you don't train sufficiently at, near, or far below your goal 2 mile run time, it's going to be very, very hard to run those last few laps of that race sufficiently. And again, like I said earlier, the key strategy here is to improve your body's lactate tolerance. The only way to do that is to train substantially below goal race pace, and to also lengthen the amount of time you're training at your anaerobic threshold. That's your tempo effort. A lot of athletes are not spending enough time at that particular intensity. The longer you can branch that out, the more powerful you're going to be over the 2 mile distance, and literally from the 2 mile distance all the way up to the marathon distance. So I hope this video makes sense in terms of how to improve your ACFT 2 mile run time. And again, like I said earlier, this course is not just for military members. It's also for civilians that are trying to run faster over the 2 mile distance. It only touches on, in terms of the Army Combat Fitness Tests, it's built for that in terms of discussing the tactics soldiers have to get beyond in order to run very fast over the 2 mile distance after all of those 5 events. So it also applies for military members that are in our allied forces. So if you're in Pakistan, or if you're in India, or the UK, or New Zealand, or Australia, or Canada, wherever you are in the world, and you're training to run faster for your particular goal run time, this course is built for you. I know for Indian soldiers focus on 1 mile. They focus on 1.6 kilometers for their run. So if you're trying to run faster for 1.6 kilometers or 1,600 meters, definitely check out what this course has to offer for you. So I hope this video is helpful for you all that are in the military, or if you're a civilian and you're aiming to run a faster 2 mile. If you have any questions about the course or anything revolved around training or racing, feel free to reach out to me. I will definitely respond back to you. Like this video, share it with your co-workers, family, and friends. And I really appreciate the support that you all bring to this channel. You all are the reason why I do this. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you in the next video.